Come to the next rule, indefinite pronouns. Now, in is a negative prefix meaning not. So if I say indefinite, that means not definite. I'll explain this. Right. Come to the sentences now, then I'll take you through these words. Each of them dash a bike. Everybody in the house dash sleeping. Each of them dash a bike. The options are ride, rides. Ride is plural. Rides is singular because of the S. Everybody in the house dash sleeping. Is singular. R is plural. I say each of them rides a bike. Everybody in the house is sleeping. Now we always say everybody are. Everybody are is a wrong usage. It must be everybody is. I'll tell you why. Now come to these words. Each, everyone, everybody, everything, someone, somebody, something, anyone, anybody, anything, no one, nobody, nothing, none. Now these words are termed as indefinite pronouns. One is singular, right? One is singular. No one and none are the negative forms of one. These words are called indefinite pronouns. Now the rule is this: indefinite pronouns are taken as singular. That means whenever you come across an indefinite pronoun in a sentence, any of these words, no other rule applies there. No other rule applies there. Just conclude that the subject of the sentence is singular. Indefinite pronouns tell us that the subject is singular. So whenever you find indefinite pronoun, just conclude the subject is singular. And if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. Come to these two sentences once again. Each of them dash a bike. Each is an indefinite pronoun telling us that the subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. Rides a bike. Similarly, everybody in the house dash sleeping. Everybody is again an indefinite pronoun telling us that the subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. Everybody in the house is sleeping. Getting it? Come to the next statement. Somebody dash helped him. The options are has, have. Somebody is also an indefinite pronoun telling us that the subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. Somebody has helped. None of the four boys dash well. Four boys means plural, but we are not concerned about it. None is again an indefinite pronoun telling us that the subject is singular. So the verb in this sentence must also be singular. None of the four boys studies well. And studies is singular because of the IES. Getting it? Now as I said, every topic has a set of rules. We have no choice. We have to go for the rules and the exceptions by heart. Every rule has a set of exceptions as well. The indefinite pronoun each has an exception. There is an exception with the indefinite pronoun each. I'll tell you what it is. Come to the statement, we each. We each is a correct usage. I'll tell you why. They each, correct. He each, it's a wrong usage. She each, wrong. Now, I'll come back to it. The exception regarding the usage each is this. When there is a noun or pronoun in front of each. Noun or pronoun does not matter because a pronoun stands for a noun. When there is a noun or pronoun in front of each, that noun or pronoun must be plural. That means a noun or pronoun that appears in front of each must be plural. The boy each is a wrong usage. The boys each is a correct usage. The girl each is wrong. The girls each is correct. The child each is wrong. The children each is correct. Because a noun or pronoun that comes in front of each must be plural. Now come to this. I said we each is a correct usage. Because we is a plural pronoun. They each is a correct usage. They is a plural pronoun. He each is a wrong usage because he is a singular pronoun. She each is a wrong usage. She is a singular pronoun. So if there is a noun or pronoun in front of each, that noun or pronoun must be plural. Now the exception is this. When there is a plural noun or pronoun in front of each, the subject must be taken as plural. This is the exception. When there is a plural noun or pronoun in front of each, the subject must be taken as plural. Now come to these two statements. Come to this statement. We each dash slept early. The options are has, have. In this statement, we have a plural pronoun in front of each, that is we. So we have a plural pronoun in front of each, exception, subject is taken as plural, the verb must also be plural. We each have slept early. Getting it? We each is the same as each of us. We each is the same as each of us because us is a form of we. They each is the same as each of them. Now I told you, he each is wrong because there's nothing like each of him. She each is wrong, there's nothing like each of her. Each of them is a correct usage, each of us is also correct usage. So we each is the same as each of us. The same meaning, the only thing is expressed in two different forms. Each of us dash slept early, no change in the meaning, but expressed in two different forms. In this case, it cannot be have. Even though the meaning remains the same, it cannot be have. In this case, it must be has. Because each of us means, in this sentence, we don't have a plural noun or pronoun in front of each. So no exception, indefinite pronoun is there, subject is singular, verb must also be singular. So we each have slept early is the same as each of us has slept early. The same meaning expressed in two different ways. I told you about a statement earlier. Each of them dash a bike. Now each of them is the same as they each. Them is a form of they. Each of them is the same as they each. They each dash a bike. The same options, ride, rides. They each in a sense. In this statement, we have a plural pronoun in front of each. That is they. So we have a plural pronoun in front of each. Exception, subject is plural. The verb must also be plural. They each ride a bike. So each of them rides a bike. They each ride a bike. The same meaning but two different forms. So this is a rule regarding indefinite pronouns. I repeat, when you find any of these pronouns in a sentence, no other rule applies there. Conclude the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. The exception is with indefinite pronoun each. Got it? So this is about indefinite pronouns. Come to the next rule, determiners. I'll tell you what. Come to the statement I gave. He has many books. He has some books. He has a few books. All these are grammatically correct. Books, the word books is a noun. The word books is a noun. If I ask you, what kind of books? If I ask you, what kind of books? Should you say some books, many books, or a few books? You should not say any of these because kind of is for quality. Kind of is for quality, whereas these words are for quantity. Kind of is for quality, these words are for quantity. If I say, I have sincere friends, then if I ask you what kind of friends, you can say sincere friends, right? So kind of is for quality, these words are for quantity. Now these words are termed as determiners. That means a determiner is a word that comes in front of a noun and tells us about the quantity of the noun. So any word that comes in front of a noun and tells us about the quantity of the noun is termed as a determiner. Some commonly seen determiners are some, many, a few, almost all, 90%, 40%, 30%, 3/4, 1/4, 2/3, half of, more than, much, several, numerous, various, etc. These are some commonly seen determiners. Now determiners cannot be subjects because as I told you earlier, subjects can only be nouns or pronouns. Determiners are not nouns, determiners are not pronouns, so determiners cannot be subjects. Even if you come across these words in sentences, don't give importance to them. Just neglect them. Never get stuck with a determiner. Focus only on the noun in the sentence. If the noun is singular, the verb must also be singular. If the noun is plural, the verb must also be plural. So even though determiners will be found in sentences, we should not give any importance to them. Just forget about them. Come to sentences now. Come to the first statement. Some of the chocolate dash been taken. Dash been taken by him. The options are has, have. Has is singular, have is plural. Some of the chocolate. Some is a determiner telling us about the quantity of the noun chocolate. I told you, forget about determiners. So forget about some. Focus only on the noun in the sentence. The noun in the sentence is chocolate, singular. Verb must also be singular. Some of the chocolate has been taken by him. Come to second. Some of the chocolates dash been taken by him. The same rule, no change in the rule. Some is a determiner, forget about it. The noun here is chocolates, plural. The verb must also be plural. Some of the chocolates have been taken by him. So some of the chocolate has been taken by him. Some of the chocolates have been taken by him. Now some of the chocolate in the sense, one chocolate was there, he took a part of it or a piece of it. So both are grammatically fine, but the meanings are different. Come to the statement now. Many boys dash really well. Many a boy dash really well. If I say many girls is the same as many a girl. Many girls is the same as many a girl, the same meaning. The only thing is, many girls is a colloquial usage. C-O-L-L-O-Q-I-L. Colloquial means like what we use every day while speaking, spoken language. Whereas many a girl is a standard usage. That's the only difference. The meaning remains the same. Many a girls is a wrong usage. Because as we discussed earlier, a and an are always used with singular countable nouns. Girls is a plural noun. We cannot use a and an with plural nouns. So many a girls is wrong, must be many a girl. Many children is the same as many a child. Many books is the same as many a book. Many women, W-O-M-E-N, women is plural, W-O-M-A-N, woman is singular. Many women is the same as many a woman. So many boys is the same as many a boy. Many a boys is wrong, must be many a boy. The same meaning, the only thing is many boys is colloquial, many a boy is standard. That is the only difference, the meaning remains the same. Come to the first one. Many boys dash really well. Many is a determiner, forget about it. The noun here is boys, plural. The verb must also be plural. Many boys play really well. And play is plural because no S, no ES, no IS. Come to the second one. I said the same meaning. Even though the meaning is the same, the subjects are different. The same rule, no change in the rule. Many a boy dash really well. Many is a determiner, forget. The noun here is a boy. A boy is singular. The verb must also be singular. Many a boy plays really well. So many boys play really well. Many a boy plays really well. The same meaning but expressed in two different forms. Now one idea can be expressed in different forms. If I say, I did not teach you anything, it's the same as I taught you nothing. He did not give me any money, the same as he gave me no money. So one idea can be framed in different ways actually. Come to the next one. Many a child / have been kidnapped. Our task is to find out which part contains the L. Many a child, many is a determiner, forget. The noun here is a child. A child is singular, so verb must also be singular. Many a child has been kidnapped. Grammatically correct. Now, I change the sentence this way. Instead of a child, I go for children. Many children have been kidnapped. Forget about many. The noun here is children, plural. Verb must also be plural, have been kidnapped. So to make the statement grammatically correct, we can change either part 1 or part 2. If I change have to has, grammatically correct. Many a child has been kidnapped. Or if I change many a child to many children, grammatically correct. Many children have been kidnapped. So as I said, to make the given statement grammatically correct, we can change either part 1 or part 2. I told you earlier as well, in the case of spotting the error, our task is to find out the part that contains the error. It's all about moving from the left to the right. Moving from the left to the right, many a child, up to here, any error? No. Many a child is a correct usage. So up to here, no error. Then if I say have, the second part does not go with the first part. So in this case, the error is in part 2. And in this context, the correct statement must be many a child has been kidnapped. Moving from the left to the right. Come next one. More than one book dash missing. Now more than one book means how many books? Minimum 2 books. The verb always depends on the subject in the sentence. More than one book. I told you earlier, subjects can only be nouns or pronouns. More than is not a noun. More than is not a pronoun. More than is a determiner. Determiners cannot be nouns or pronouns. Determiners cannot be subjects. You forget about the determiner sentence I said. So forget about more than. The noun here is one book. One book is singular. The verb must also be singular. More than one book is missing. More than 2 books are missing. Same rule. Forget about more than 2 books, plural. Verb must also be plural. So more than 1 book is missing. More than 2 books are missing. More than 3 books are missing extra. So never get stuck with determinate sentence. Focus only on the subject, the noun in the statement. Come next one. There dash many doctors in the hospital. The options are yes, are. Now when you find a verb, understand which or identify which is a noun related to that verb. If that noun is singular, that verb must also be singular. If that noun is plural, that verb must also be plural. There dash many doctors in the hospital. Many is a determiner, forget about it. This blank must be filled with a verb. There dash many doctors means the noun related to this verb is doctors. So this verb depends on the noun doctors. Doctors is a plural noun, so verb must also be plural. There are many doctors in the hospital. Come to next one. There dash many a doctor. Many doctors is the same as many a doctor. Many doctors is a colloquial usage. Many a doctor is a standard usage. Forget about many, determine. There dash many a doctor in the hospital. The verb must come here in this blank. The noun related to this verb is a doctor. A doctor is a noun related to this verb. A doctor is a singular noun. So this blank must be filled with a singular verb. There is many a doctor in the hospital. So there are many doctors in the hospital is the same as there is many a doctor in the hospital. The first one is colloquial, the second one is standard. Getting it? So this is a rule regarding determiners. So if you find any of these words, don't get stuck with them. Just neglect them. Focus only on the noun in the sentence and repeat and repeat. The verb in the sentence depends on the noun or the subject given there in the statement. So this is a rule regarding determiners. Come to next rule, relative pronouns. Who, whom, that, which. These pronouns are termed as relative pronouns. Now the rule is this. When you find any of these pronouns in a sentence, focus on the noun that comes immediately before it and the verb that comes immediately after it. Only these two. So when you find when you find any of these pronouns, focus on the noun that comes immediately before it, the verb that comes immediately after it. Now this verb must be in agreement with this noun. That means if this noun is singular, this verb must also be singular. Similarly, if this noun is plural, this verb must also be plural. So So focus on the noun that comes immediately before relative pronoun, the verb that comes immediately after it, singular noun, singular verb, plural noun, plural verb. To make it more precise to you, come to the statement. The first statement, he is one of the students. I told you earlier, one of the student is a wrong usage. It must be one of the students. He is one of the students who dash well in the examination. The options are perform, performs. Who is a relative pronoun? So we need to focus only on these two. The noun that comes immediately before it, the verb that comes immediately after it. The noun that comes immediately before who is students. And students is a plural noun. So the verb that comes immediately after who must also be plural. Right? The noun coming immediately before who is plural. So verb that comes immediately after who must also be plural. So this blank must be filled with a plural verb. Based on that, performs is eliminated, answer must be perform. Now understand the meaning. He is one of the students who perform well. From this statement, is he the only student who performs well? No. Many students perform well, and among the students who perform well, he is just one among them. There's a meaning. He is one of the students who perform well means many students perform well, and among the students who perform well, he is just one among them. Come to the next statement. She is one of the girls who dash well. Who is a relative pronoun? The noun that comes immediately before who is girls, plural. So the verb that comes immediately after who must also be plural. The options given here are dance, dances. She is one of the girls who dance well. She is one of the girls who dance well means many girls dance well. And among the girls who dance well, she is just one among them. That's the meaning. Come to the next one. Understand the meaning of it. She is the only one of the girls who dash well. She is the only one of the girls who dash well. From this statement, how many girls dash well? How many girls dance well? Only one. And that is she. So the meaning of this statement is only one girl dances well. Only one girl means subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. She is the only one of the girls who dances well. Now, as I told you, when you find relative pronouns, focus on this rule. The noun that comes immediately before them, verb that comes immediately after. But there is an exception when the word only comes in the sentence. When the word only comes in a sentence, there is an exception. Like this statement. She is the only one of the girls who dash well means only one girl dances well, and that is she. Only one girl in the sense the subject is singular, verb must also be singular. She is the only one of the girls who dances well. Getting it? Come to the next sentence. Messi is the only one of the best players that dash been selected. The options are has, have. Messi is the only one of the best players means the dash selected. How many best players got selected? Only one best player, and that is Messi. So meaning of this statement is only one best player got selected. Subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. Has been selected. Messi is the only one of the best players that has been selected. Come next one. Messi is one of the best players that dash been selected. That is a relative pronoun. So when you focus on the noun that comes immediately before it, the verb that comes immediately after it. The noun that comes immediately before that is players, plural. So the verb that comes immediately after it must also be plural. So Messi is one of the best players that have been selected. Messi is one of the best players that have been selected means many best players got selected. And among the best players that got selected, Messi is just one among them. That's it. So this is a rule regarding relative pronouns. Hope you got it. Come to the next one. Come to the next rule, uncountable nouns. Now uncountable nouns cannot be singular or plural. But uncountable nouns always carry a singular verb with them. Water is uncountable. Water is essential for life or water are essential for life? Water is essential for life. Now, even though, as I said, uncountable nouns cannot be singular or plural, they always carry a singular verb with them. Knowledge. Knowledge is uncountable. Knowledge is life or knowledge are life? Knowledge is life. Honesty is uncountable. Honesty is the best policy, honesty are the best policy. Honesty is the best policy. So even though uncountable nouns cannot be singular or plural, as I said, uncountable nouns carry a singular verb with them. Come to statements now. Some of the information dash true. Now, some is a determiner. Forget about it. The noun here is information. Information is uncountable, whereas piece of information is countable. One piece of information, two pieces of information, three pieces of information. Tea is uncountable, whereas cup of tea is countable. One cup of tea, two cups of tea, three cups of tea. Water is uncountable, whereas bottle of water is countable. One bottle of water, two bottles of water, three bottles of water, etc. So information is uncountable. Milk is uncountable. Packet of milk is countable. One packet of milk, two packets of milk, etc. Information is uncountable. Forget about some determiner. The noun here is information, uncountable. Uncountable nouns carry a singular verb with them. So some of the information is correct. Come on, next one. 10,000 miles dash a long distance. Measurements carry a singular verb with them. That is one reason. Right? Now, if you are not getting the help of one rule, forget about it. Think about some other rules. Because every sentence has at least 5 rules in it. 2,000 miles dash a long distance. I told you, measurements carry a singular verb with them. Then, a long distance. A tells us that the subject, the verb in the sentence must be singular. So because of I can conclude that the verb that I have to use in this statement is singular. So 2,000 miles is a long distance. Getting it? Right. Come to next one. 1 lakh rupees dash a huge amount. Now money is uncountable, whereas notes and coins are countable. Now we don't count money actually. What we count are notes and coins. Many is used with countable nouns, whereas much is used with uncountable nouns. Many is used with countable nouns, much is used with uncountable nouns. How many money do you have or how much money do you have? How much money do you have? How many 10 rupee notes? How many 5 rupee coins? So term money is uncountable, whereas notes and coins are countable. Time. How many time is there or how much time is there? How much time is there? So term time is uncountable, whereas hours, minutes and seconds are countable. How many hours, how many minutes, how many seconds, etc. So many is used with countable nouns, much is used with uncountable nouns. 1 lakh rupees dash a huge amount. The simple reason I give is we have a here telling us that we have to go for a singular verb to fill in this blank. So 1 lakh rupees is a huge amount. Come to the next one. 20,000 rupees dash been spent. The options are has, have. Has is singular, have is plural. I say 20,000 rupees have been spent. This is an exception. Now when a sentence talks about some amount getting spent, the verb in the sentence must be plural. I told you the rule regarding collective nouns. Money is not a collective noun, but I told you the rule regarding collective nouns. Collective nouns are taken as singular. When a sentence talks about a collective noun getting divided or separated, the verb in the sentence must be plural. Money is uncountable. When a sentence talks about an amount getting spent, the verb in the sentence must be plural. So 20,000 rupees dash been spent. This sentence talks about 20,000 rupees getting spent. So verb must be plural. So 20,000 rupees have been spent. Getting it? So these are the rules in the topic subject verb agreement. By heart the rules with examples. We'll solve an exercise based only on the rules we discussed. Right? Because every question, every option must be approached thinking only about the rules, based on the rules only. No guesswork, because guesswork will never help us in any way. Now some usages have some rules of their own. Come to this, the number of and a number of. Now the number of and a number of, these are like phrases. I should not take the individual meaning of a number of. It is like a phrase. The number of is a usage taken as singular, whereas a number of is a usage taken as plural. That means in a sentence, if you come across the number of, we cannot think about the individual meaning of a, I said. This is like a usage, rule regarding some usages, exceptions. When you come across the number of in a sentence, conclude that the subject of the sentence is singular, the verb must also be singular. Whereas in a sentence, if you come across a number of, conclude that the subject is plural, the verb must also be plural. So the number of tells us that the subject is singular, whereas a number of tells us that the subject is plural. The usage the majority has a rule of its own. Now the rule is this, listen, when there is a noun after the majority, the subject is taken as plural. I'll explain these sentences. When there is a noun after the majority, the subject is taken as plural. Whereas, when there is no noun after the majority, the subject is taken as singular. When there is a noun after the majority, the subject is taken as plural. When there is no noun after the majority, the subject is taken as singular. Come to the statements now, these two sentences. Come to first one. The majority of children, the majority of child, the majority of boy, the majority of girl, the majority of table, all these are wrong. So the majority of boys, the majority of children, the majority of teachers, the majority of tables, etc. The majority of children dash with me. Options are agree, disagree, disagrees. The majority of children, children is a noun. So in this sentence, we have a noun after the majority. As I said, if there is a noun after the majority, the subject is taken as plural. The verb must also be plural. We have a noun after the majority here. The subject is plural. The verb must also be plural. Disagree with me. The majority of children disagree with me. Come next one. The majority dash with me. In this statement, we don't have a noun after the majority. And when there is no noun after the majority, the subject must be taken as singular. The verb must also be singular. So in the second statement, we don't have a noun after the majority. The subject is singular. The verb must also be singular. Disagrees with me. So majority of children disagree with me. The majority disagrees with me. So this is a rule regarding the majority. Now a majority is a usage taken as plural, not singular, plural. So in a sentence, if we come across a majority, you conclude that the subject of the sentence is plural. So the verb in the sentence must also be plural. So a majority tells us that the subject is plural. So these are the rules in the topic subject-verb agreement. Now as I said, we'll go topic wise. We'll go for the rules of the topic, of every topic. We'll go for an exercise based on every topic. We'll go for some 30-40 questions on the same topic. That's enough for us based on every topic. We'll complete the basics and exercise of every topic. And once we complete the basics and the exercise of all the topics, we'll move on to some previous year questions. We'll combine all the topics and then do some exercises. Because when you go for a question in the grammar part, whether it's sentence improvement or spotting error, the concepts of all the topics must be applied into every question. See whether there is any error based on subject of agreement, if not parts of speech, if not tenses, if not modifiers, parallelism. Only if we think about the rules that appear in all the topics, we can find out the error in a sentence. So after completing these individual exercise on individual topics, we'll combine all the topics and start doing some workshops. We'll go for many questions at that time, instead of focusing on many questions on a single topic. Right. So this is about the topic subject of agreement. We'll go for an exercise on this topic based only on the rules we discussed now. We have gone for now. Thank you.